Hello everyone, welcome back to Bhava Jnanantara. In our last class, we studied the meaning and definition of statistics. We understood statistics both as numerical facts and as a science of data. Now, before we analyze or calculate anything in statistics, the first step is data. What is data? Data simply means facts, figures, or information that we collect for study. This is basis of all statistics study. In this lesson, we will focus on types of data and collection of data. Let's begin with types of data. Data can be broadly divided into two types based on its nature, qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative data is descriptive and cannot be measured in numbers. For example, gender, male or female, and eye color, blue, brown, black, etc. Occupation, doctor, teacher, nurse, etc. Like that, some qualitative data is only descriptive and we cannot measure them in numbers. And second one, quantitative data. Quantitative data is numerical and can be measured. This has two forms. One, discrete data and continuous data. In discrete data, we measure using whole numbers data. Okay, whole numbers only in discrete data. For example, number of children in family, numbers of cars in a parking lot. You can't have 2.5 children in home, right now. And continuous data, it is measurable values like height, weight, and it can take any value within a range. For example, height, weight, temperature, where values can be 5.5 feet and 62.3 kg, 37.7 degrees Celsius, etc. We can use any value within range. Nothing but the continuous data. So qualitative describes quality and quantitative measures quantities. And next, types of data based on source. Data can also be classified based on the source. In that, primary data and secondary data. First, we will discuss primary data. This is original data collected by a researcher directly by the survey, interview, like that. For example, if I go to school and take a survey of students about their studies or their study habits, that's primary data. And second one is secondary data. This is the data collected by someone else but used by us for our study. For example, census reports published by the government, economic survey reports, or even data from newspapers and research journals. So primary is like first-hand information, while secondary is like ready-made data. These are two types based on the sources of data. Next, types of data based on measurement scale. Another important classification is that given by S.H. Stevens. In that, we observe nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Let's discuss one by one. First one, nominal data. Nominal data categories without any order. For example, blood group A, B, O, AB. Here, we can't say A is greater than B, B is greater than A, or O is the best, like that. There is no order for this data type. And second one is ordinal data. This has categories with order or rank. In this type of data, we can order or rank the data. For example, rank in class, first, second, third. Here, order matters. And third one is interval data. Data with equal intervals but no zero, no true zero in this data type. For example, temperature in Celsius. And 0 degree Celsius is doesn't mean no temperature. That we don't use like 0 degree Celsius. That doesn't mean no temperature. That is only cold. So interval data is like that only. There in that type of data we don't use zeros. And last one, ratio data. Data with equal intervals and a true zero. For example, income, weight, age. If income is zero, that means there is no income. If weight is zero, there is no weight, like that. The ratio data is with zero. The scale helps us decide which statistical techniques we can apply. Next, most and important concept, collection of data. After knowing the types of data, the next step is how to collect data. Collection of data means systematically gathering facts or information for analysis. There are two main categories, primary data collection and secondary data collection. This systematic process of gathering facts is called collection of data. In that, we have already know that primary data and collection. Let's see one by one them. First one, primary data collection. Primary data is collected directly by the researcher, and the methods includes observation method, interview method, questionnaire method, schedule method, and experiment method. Let's discuss one by one. First one, observation method. Observation method includes direct watching events and observing the events and counting or collecting data from the observation. For example, counting the numbers of vehicles passing a road in 1 hour, or how many goals are happening in one match, like that. These are the observations. And second one is interview method, asking questions personally or over the phone. It is like interview. For example, election surveys or happens like that only. And the third one, questionnaire method, distributing written questions to respondents and getting answers from the respondents via offline or online. We may use Google Forms to get answers from the respondents. Question method also there. And fourth one, schedule method, that trained investigators fill data themselves by visiting homes of the respondents or directly approaching to the respondents. For example, census survey where government officials visit homes to conduct the data. Okay, last one, experimental method, data collected under control conditions and by the experiments, testing the effect of the new medicine in a lab and checking the blood group for some patients, like that. Experiment method is in control situation and control conditions. Each method is chosen based on the purpose and types of study. What type of study we are conducting and purpose, what is the purpose of that study. All the primary data collection or secondary data collection, that depends on the study only. And second one, the secondary data. Secondary data is collected by others but used by us. for the study. And we can collect the secondary data from published sources and as well as unpublished sources. From published sources, nothing but census reports, government publications, newspapers, research articles, journals, and like that. And unpublished sources, company internal records and institutional data. Even personal diaries also used as unpublished sources. If I want data on literacy rate, I don't need to conduct a survey myself. I can directly use government census data. Why do I need survey on that? Already I have data. So from the published sources we can use like that. Secondary data is collected by others but we use for our study. Let's move forward. And census and sample survey. Now let's discuss census and sample survey difference. Census, it is complete enumeration. Data is collected from the entire population. Example, government census of India, where every household is surveyed. And sample survey, it is not completely, but this data is collected only from the selected portion of the population. For example, opinion polls before elections. Difference is that census is accurate but time consuming and it is costly. And sample is quick and cheap but may have errors in the sample. Okay. Okay. Census is complete survey or complete collection of the data, but sample is not like that. It is only selected from some group population. So this is not very accurate compared to the census. Okay, let's conclude this point. Data is the foundation of the statistics. It can be qualitative or quantitative, primary or secondary, and classified by scale. We can either conduct a census or sample survey depending on the resources. Data can be collected through various methods like observation, interview, questionnaire, schedules, experiments, or from published and unpublished sources. Remember, the quality of statistical analysis depends on the quality of data we collected.